Happy Friday, everybody. Oh my goodness. It is Knottyyarnies' 10th weekly podcast. I say weekly loosely. I think it's been 10 days. I did it last Monday and then today is Friday. So, well, maybe that's 11 days, but I apologize. I had a very, very busy week last week. I'll tell you all about that. All about my goings on, what I've been up to, showing you a bunch of works in progress, showing you even some finished objects. And even after all that, I have things that I can't even show you. So what I'm doing with the things that I can't show you is I'm doing a separate video. So I'm recording as I go so that I can, once they're gifted, because they're Christmas gifts, once they're gifted, then I'm able to put those on the podcast and include them to show you as I went in January, probably. And for all those that are new, I welcome you. Hope you stick along and hit the subscribe button if you enjoy these kind of videos. And for everybody returning, I thank you greatly. It's greatly appreciated. I'm coming from a little town in Ontario. Well, it's considered a city, but it's just borderline city. So it's a very small city outside Ottawa, Ontario, Canada. And it's called Pembroke, if anybody's heard of it. It's just outside, like I think 17 minutes or 17 kilometers outside of a big army base, Petawawa, Ontario. You might have heard that. That's kind of, I'm an army brat, so I went to school a few times there, 2 different schools. We were removed twice within that community. So, but that's a whole nother subject. So my next, one of my videos I'd like to do, let me know down below what you think, but I'd like to answer questions anybody has, because I like to converse back and forth with you. But if there's any questions at all you have, I can do a whole video where I'm answering any types of questions. So whether it be knitting related, crochet related, yarn related, loom knitting, like any kind of crafts, scrapbooking, I do most of it, but try to keep the questions to maybe yarn crafts. And I could try to answer any at all. Or if you have any personal questions or any questions that you have seen me show the projects and you want more information on them, go ahead and ask me anything down below. I will sit down and write them all up and then do a video and answer all the questions. Anything whatsoever. Like even if you want to know what my favorite yarn to use is, or what projects you'd like me to see me that I would like to do in the future, or anything whatsoever. What I like to drink. Hey, what's my favorite top 5 favorite yarns? What types of yarns what type of yarn stores are available locally to me? Anything at all. I'm an open book. So I'll answer as much as I can. So I said all this. What's on my mannequin? First I'll start with. This is a pattern by Salena Baca. And I'll try to put I'm trying to learn how to put stuff included in the video. So down here, hopefully you'll see what it is. Lynn poncho by Salena Baca, so that you know how to search for her name, how it's spelt. And the yarn I used was Lion Brand's Ice Cream Scoops, and in the colorway of Mochi. And it's a number 3 weight yarn. Beautiful to work with. I'm not a 3 weight fan, but with this lacy pattern here, worked up super, super quickly. Like I think I did this poncho in probably a week, and that was just a few hours a night. So it works up really, really fast. So I wanted to make sure I started off with that. I had a few things this week. My son turned 25 last week. Well, not last week. It was last weekend. So he's a quarter of a century old. Oh my gosh, I have a quarter of a century old child. Actually, I have two. My oldest is 27. No. Wow. No, he's only 26. So now I have a 25 and a 26-year-old for half a year. They're a year apart. So they're 18 months apart. So for half a year, they're like 25, 26, or they were 4 and 5, or things like that. Then the oldest one jumps up. So we had a little party. Not really. It was just the 5 of us. My husband, Paul, and myself. My son, Cole, it was his birthday. My son, Ryan, and his fiancée, Kiana. So we had just got together and opened gifts, and that was awesome. Like, he had a little party at a friend's house. They had a bonfire the night before, and him and her have a little boy. He's 4, and he was out for the evening, so they just social distance outside and had a few drinks, and it was very nice of them to have a little something for him. And yeah, it was super sweet to hear all the stories and things around the campfire, and I enjoyed that, since we can't have too much going on, you know. So we gifted him, he collects Monopolies, so we gifted him Geekopoly was one, and another one was a special edition that's in a tin at Costco, a Monopoly. So we gifted him those 2 items, as well as a box of his favorite protein bars. So he enjoyed those. And that same day is my brother's birthday, and I won't tell you his age. And we gifted him some big mason jars. Like, they're really, the largest one was probably larger than this, but there's a set of 4 or 5, beautifully thick. Like, one's this short and this round. Like, they're gorgeous. And then I gave him some cash to buy some snacks to put inside of the jars, because he loves his snacks. So thought that was appropriate for him. And we also went to the wedding. My sister-in-law's wedding, if you didn't know, was last weekend. And our numbers, we were allowed at that time, that specific day, we were allowed 25 indoors, you were supposed to be, I guess, distanced indoors with 25, because it's supposed to be only 10 in your bubble, and 50 indoors. So this was outside, but it was in a tent type thing. But we all social distanced. But the next day, our numbers in Ontario went so up, like over 400. It was basically what it was in March. And so our numbers went from those numbers to only being able to be, I think it's 10 indoors again and 25 outdoors, social distanced. So her wedding wouldn't have been able to go on. Like, she would have had to cancel, postpone or something again, and then, or uninvite some people, I guess, which would have been awful to do. So it went great. They had a band, and her husband, now husband, is the singer in a band, and so his band played, and it was amazing, and was a beautiful, beautiful ceremony. And yes, we gifted her the Afghan, and they opened it right there for us before we left, because I wanted to see her open it. I mean, it's a gift I spent like 100 hours making, so I wanted to watch her open it. So she opened it, and she went, oh my gosh, this is perfect, because her husband, whose name's Pat, he's always cold, so this is awesome. So they just loved it. So it was very well received, which you're always a bit nervous with something handmade, right? And nothing I remember that I ever created for her. We don't exchange gifts at Christmas or anything like that. We do a gift exchange type thing. So I wasn't sure how a handmade gift with her would go over, but they just loved it. So I'm thankful that happened. We purchased a van. We got a really, really good deal on a van. last winter or early spring. Maybe it was last fall even. It was last fall. And we had a lot of trouble. Like, it's a pretty newer van. I think it's 2015. And we paid the woman, but she lives in Alberta. And we've been trying to get a hold of her because it's in her business name. And she didn't have this, they didn't know if she had the signing authority or not for it. So it took us like 10 months to get a hold of her to be able to switch it into our name. What a big schmozzle that was. But all in all, ended up, you know, sending what they needed to send and signing what they needed to sign and paying our taxes for it, which is silly because the taxes are always like, how many times are taxes paid on a used vehicle? They go through and go through, pay taxes on taxes on taxes, because the taxes were paid when you first purchased the vehicle as well. Anyway, that's a whole nother story. I digress. And we went, my son works in a garage, so took it to his garage. He's a mechanic. He didn't do it. His coworker did it. It's what do you call that when they're, you know, family? So he can't do our safety pretty much. So one of the other mechanics had written up our safety, and our son just brought it home. So pretty handy because we could just hand him the keys. He could bring it in, and we had a 10-day trip permit. So it was allowed to be on the road. It was already insured. And I tell you, with COVID going on, it took 2 hours. I think it was 5 minutes, less than 2 hours, for my husband to sit on the phone to change our insurance over. And it wasn't actually changing anything. All it was adding the vehicle on, because we kept all our other vehicles on the road. So it was adding a vehicle on. Could not believe that took that long. But I guess there's a lot of people maybe buying new cars or used cars or whatever right now. So I don't know, but that took a while. After my sister-in-law got married, she had my husband's uncles were there, so her uncles as well, and my boys' great uncles, and they came from Peterborough area. So the next day we decided we were all going to get together for brunch, and we haven't been out, not one, like we go groceries, that's it, or Michael's of course, but we went out for brunch. So it was different. We didn't know what we were in store for to go into a restaurant. So in this particular restaurant, we were only allowed groups of 6 or less. So there was 8 of us. So we had to split into 2 groups of 4. We couldn't even put our tables together. So I guess it's to limit the exposure to the waitress. That's the only reason I could think of, because we were all together anyway. So one quick little funny story. We're standing in line and we're waiting for our table, because we wanted to at least be where we could talk to each other from a distance. So we're waiting for the second table to become available. That was by the first group of 4 that sat down. This older gentleman comes beside us. He had a mask on. That's the rule. We have to wear a mask inside until we sit down to eat. And he walks by us to talk to the waiter or maitre d', the person who sits us down at the table. This is what he did. Here's his mask. He wanted to ask him a question, so he takes it down to ask him if he could make a reservation. Because I guess you can't talk with a mask on your face. That was the second time that day that happened. The first time was in Walmart when a woman, her phone rang, and she pulled her mask down to talk on the phone right beside me. Not impressed. Like, these people think they can't speak with their masks on. I mean, it just defeats the whole purpose. Like, I'm not sure if they work or not, but I would rather have the chance to see if it does work or not. But oh my gosh, I just could not believe that just happened. Our gym was, last time I talked to you, our gym was closed down because we had a positive case of COVID. Happy to announce tomorrow is 14 days since any testing, so there's been nobody that's had a case besides that one person in that gym. We had a local school who had an outbreak. They had 5, I believe, cases, and we suspect that one of the 5 cases was at the gym that one morning that me and my family were there, but we were there earlier. So it was on September 5th. So tomorrow is going to be the 2-week mark since nobody else from the gym has been exposed. Like, they closed it for a week, reopened it last Saturday. So we were able to go last Sunday after the wedding and start back there. Only thing, the lockers, they have like rows of lockers at Planet Fitness. There's only 1 locker available per row. So I guess they thought we're not capable of waiting for somebody. Like, say I'm at my locker, somebody comes in and her locker's 3 foot away. She could have waited until I get my stuff out of my locker and then progress to her locker after I leave. I guess they don't want that happening. And also they took out a bunch of our equipment, things like handles and things for the Smith machine. Took those all out, I guess, because there's no real way to wash them. So I went on Amazon. I checked in, my husband checked in with the ladies at Planet Fitness and asked the boss if we were allowed to bring in our own tricep ropes. And she said, yeah, no problem. So I went on Amazon the day before yesterday and purchased 2 sets of the tricep ropes. They're like $20. So now any of us can use them, just not the whole gym, just me, my husband, or my 2 sons. So when we're there, we can use the tricep ropes and then put them in the bag until next time. So purchase those. So guess I should stop the blabbering and move on to finished objects. I've been busy doing the Ross hat pattern, the knitted. I'll do the knitted first and then get into the crocheted. As I said, most of what I'm working on I can't show. Unfortunate, but that's what happens around this time of the year, right? So I did some of those knitted Ross hat patterns from Smells Like Yarn. Ross Rochester is his name if you want to look him up on Ravelry. It's also under my project page for Ravelry, which if you look in the down arrow in the description box, you will see my information for Ravelry, and my Ravelry name is Bubbatisme. You could go under my project pages and check out what I made, or to find the pattern. And it's free pattern too, by the way. So here is the Ross hat pattern, and using the new Craft Smart yarn. Isn't this gorgeous? Gorgeous. Oh my gosh, the way these are addicting to make. So that's the blue one, and then I did 2 of the purples. I had so many people say, oh my gosh, Barb, those are gorgeous, how they worked up. Oh, I just love them. What I found with the pattern, he calls for 5 inches, or to knit until it's 6 inches deep before you start the decreases. I just do to 5.5 for the women's size, and then I start my decreases, and then it works out perfectly. So this one's a little bit, as you can see, a little bit longer, just by 1/2 inch. But this, I figure this probably is going to be for a man. So I now I've did 1, 2, 3, 4, I think about 5 different ones. You're going to see one that's in my finish, or my whips, that's almost done in this with a different color, so you can see a different colorway. I also wanted to show you, I showed you in a previous podcast, but I took, whoops, my iPad, when I close it, it takes off my, it kicks off my screen. I had it all set up. So here is the blanket that I made for my sister-in-law's wedding. And that's made with the, here is the border. It is, one second, there's the whole length of it. It is made with the anniversary cakes, one skein, and around the outside is a Craft Smart tweed worked with a Karen latte cake. And it took 2 of the Craft Smart tweeds and 1 entire latte cake all the way around until I had run out of the Karen or the Craft Smart. And then I took the inside of the ball or cake and the outside of the cake of the latte cakes. And then for 2 rounds, I just used the latte cake. You could probably see. So this part here is all in the tweed with the latte cake. And this part here is double strand of the latte cake itself. Now, I also want to show you, while I'm on the topic of the wedding, here is what the sweater that I had on my mannequin last week that I was going to wear to the wedding. Here's what it looked like on me. I had those tall boots up to my knees. I was wearing those with it, and I wore that wool hat that I showed you on the last episode as well. I wore that. It was really, really cold. It was -2 that night, so we were cold. So everybody thought it looked great on me, so I was pretty pleased with that. So another finished object I had an order from a friend of mine for a set of dog ears, not dog ears, to go over their ears. It's like a headband and it ties underneath to make them have bear ears. Well, here it is. It's on my teddy bear, but it goes to just to show you what it looks like. So yeah, I don't know what kind of dog she has, but she ordered those from me. So I said, oh, I've never did something like that. I'd love to try. So figured I'd figure that out. So I had to make up my own pattern because I could not find a pattern online for it. So the only problem I had was how wide to make it to cover her dog's ears, because I didn't even know what kind of dog she has. I guess I should have asked. And I just knew the width around her dog's head. So I knew it was 20 inches. So I had to just find something that was 20 inches around. Then I thought, it doesn't necessarily have to be 20 inches all the way around. The ties can be that extra little piece here. So just in case the measurement was a little off, I made it end in 14 inches and then did the strings, like I think I did them 20 inches each so that you were able to tie them. So one sec, just got to take a sip of my drink. I don't know if I'm talking too fast or talking too much. Probably the latter. So whips onto, oh, I just wanted to show you also one other thing I guess I forgot to talk about. Two other things. My last podcast, I was telling you about me and my son making our beef jerky. Just wanted to show you how it turned out. It was delicious. So Cabela's had this stuff that it's both a cure and marinade at once. We let it cure and marinade for 12 hours, I believe it was, after I sliced it all up, of course. And then I put it on the dehydrator. And he had bought 2 big chunks at Costco, and it took 3 days to make because we had so much slices. Like we had 2 gigantic Ziploc bags full, and that each tray only fit 5 to 6 slices at once. So he's going to order 5 more trays because it could expand. If you remember, I said it could expand to 10 trays high. So it'll lessen the time for that. I also want to tell you what I've been watching. Forgot to tell you that. I don't know if you've ever heard of the show called The Secrets of Skinwalker Ranch. If you like Island, what is that? I'm trying to think of the name of it. It's the same producers as the one that's in Nova Scotia where they're looking for the buried treasure. It's the same producers as that show, so it's kind of, and what it is a ranch in the States, and they see really, really weird things, weird phenomenons happening, and really interesting and out there. So if you like the unknowns and you're wondering, I'd really recommend it. Like, it's only 8 episodes. I just watched it on Kodi. And yeah, we finished it in like a few nights. We were so into it. It's about possible UFO sightings, and I mean, there's footage. They're not making it up. And there's things that happen that you just can't explain, and there's supposed to be paranormal stuff. I don't know. I don't want to give too much away about the show, but just an interesting, and I mean, if you really like that kind of thing, if you're the unknown and wondering, hey, what's going on in this world, if there's something else that's out there, I did an essay in high school. I'm the type of person that there's life on this planet. Why not any other planet? Like, why not? Like, why can't it happen? I mean, I'm not saying that the other planets have a human life form. Who's to say they're not another type of form, right? So who's to say that they breathe air? Who's to say that they live in water? Who's to say they need water? Who's, you know, so I just found it very, very interesting. And I like different kind of stuff, not just I'm a real reality TV buff, so I like that kind of thing. So I like all those Alaskan shows too, and those kind of things. So we watched that, and of course I've been trying to catch up on my Married at First Sight. Yeah, I'm corny, but I enjoy watching that kind of stuff. So just wanted to put that out there. Oh, I better not put that away. It has my notes. Okay, so yeah, the items that I cannot show you, there's at least 3. At least 3. I say at least because there's a 4th, but it depends on how fast I get the 3 done, is if I get that 4th project done for this other person. So that will depend. So my sock head cowl I've been showing you is a whip. I've only did 4 or 5 rows, so you're not going to see any progress, so I'm not even going to bother showing that. So it will be done for next week. Why? Because it's part of the one and done, knit one and done 2020 for a contest. So I want to have it done, and I will have it done. I only have half of the what do you call that, the brim, so it's like a knit 2 purl 2 border. That takes a while. It's 160 stitches around, so that with a fingering yarn, that takes a while. So but I will get that done. I think I work, that's the one I work at. I showed you on the bag when I bring it to the gym, and I will be at the gym tomorrow and Sunday, and hopefully Monday if my husband goes back on nights, which the last 2 weeks is why I've been crazy, as my husband's been day shift, which has been very nice. Usually that's why I can't record when he's on nights, because he's in bed. But in the day shifts, when he's on day shifts, I'm home by myself, so I feel like I'm trying to get like organized and cleaned up and tidied, and so that's why I wasn't really on last week. I just, well, I did. I did my weekly yarn basket, and I did my podcast. So anyway, so that's the sock head cowl. The next project I'm doing, you've seen some hats, but this is the hat, what the hats are made out of. The Craft Smart yarn, it's jacquard yarn. This colorway is called Minty Pink. And here is the hat. I'm just got, before I started recording here, I wanted to get to my decreased row. Of course, this is knitted. And here it is. Check this out. Isn't it beautiful? I don't know if you can see with that light above there. These hats, it's so addicting to see which row, what the rows come out of. It's so gorgeous. And each color, I think I've got 3 more colorways to work up with this. And I find I've knitted since I'm 9, and I find knitting very relaxing to me. So when we're watching TV, like, I don't have to look. I knit I used to knit English style, where you pick up and you wrap your yarn with your right hand. But since I learned to crochet, was so easy for me to learn continental style, not Norwegian, not Norwegian, not Portuguese knitting, or there's another way. So what I'm doing is have my finger up. There's one way where you have your finger and it stays down on your knitting needle, and I can't remember the way that's called, but I continental knit, so it's just like this. All stays in the one hand, and I'm using just this needle to pull the knitter purl. And when I'm purling, I'm just going like this, moving my finger. Super, super easy. So I wish I knew about that when I was a kid, because I tell you, I probably would have been so much faster at it. I don't have to look when I'm knitting even now for this kind of way, and I just taught myself this continental way a month ago, but I do have to look for when I purl. So when I'm doing the brim, so a lot of times what I'll do is when I'm by myself, I'll do the knit 2 purl 2 ribbing and leave it, and I'll put it aside so that when we're watching TV or something, I just have the extra few rows to go to do all the knitting part, and I could just watch TV without even looking at my project. So easy peasy. So, and that lives inside of my handmade family gathering made in Canada bag. And what was the other? Oh, here. And I have an order for a friend of mine. This won't give it away. She gets me to make, every time she has a new grandchild or her kids or anything, she gets me to make a stocking for Christmas for them. So she wanted to put in an order for pink and gray. So this is my pink and gray stocking. Just finished the heel flap gusset, and I'm on to the leg of the sock. And yeah, I should have that done and by the end of the weekend. And then I crochet letters and I sew them on, so their name is on it as well. So either if she doesn't pick it up by next week, which I don't expect her to, it's for Christmas, I will have it for the next podcast to show it to you physically, what it looks like done. So yeah, really fun to make. If anybody's interested, I could film this. This is my own pattern. I've made so many of them myself over the years, and I've just come up with my own pattern for it, because none out there that I really cared for. So if you're interested in me filming up this pattern, just let me know and I'll add it to the list. I've got a long list of patterns that I want to get out there, and hopefully I can sit down after Christmas, because I say after Christmas because I've got a lot of things to make. So make sure you stay following along, hit the subscribe button, don't miss out, because come January you'll want to see all these different projects that I put out there totally free for you to crochet or knit. So that's my Barb stocking. Don't have a name for it yet, but I guess by January I will. I mean that if there's a few people that really want to know how to do it, I guess I could put it out there before Christmas if people are really excited to do one. So just let me know down below if like maybe if I get 2 or 3 people, it'll be worth my while to do it ahead of time. But if you can wait for January, that would be even better. But I understand that people might want it for Christmas. So now on to my acquisitions. Just quick, it wasn't no big, I won't show you the yarn that I bought. I purchased a couple more varieties of the anniversary cakes because I'm totally obsessed with the anniversary cakes right now, which is weird. I'm not a thick, chunky weight yarn person, but the way that Afghan worked up, oh, it feels so dreamy. Honestly, very dreamy. So if you can find that yarn on sale, highly recommend it. So I'm just waiting for those great sales. There's great sales usually in November. So, but usually if you wait for a sale, they won't have the colors you want. I've been watching for certain colorways, and it's just the off colors that they've been having. So all the good colors are all gone. So I pray that they get a bunch of nice colors and have it on sale. Is that too much to ask? Probably is. So I purchased this week, I have a little book. One of my projects this week was I bought a little notebook, and I put in it all my crochet hooks, the sizes I have, all my circular knitting needles, the ones I have in the sizes and the lengths, and then all the DPNs, the sizes and lengths that I have. And I didn't need to do straight knitting needles because I have every size out there. I'm not exaggerating. I have every size out there. I've knitted since I'm 9. I have a great collection of straight needles. So I was going to pick up, and I do still want to, the Chow-Goo, the various length, so I can, the interchangeables. I have a set of interchangeables, but they only go up to 29 inch. I don't know what I did with my longer cord one. But I just, yeah, I want a set of Chow-Goo. The red lace is so nice on that. I hear that it's easy to work. The stitches slide off so lovely off them. They say you won't regret it, and I really, really want a set. But the set I want is the set that has both the small and the large, and it's $350. So I kind of got to save for that. So it'll be a while. So until then, I want to get just the ones that I'll need. So I picked up, these are just at Walmart, 5mm circular. I've got lots of 5mm circular, but this is a 36-inch cord, which I'm making the flax sweater by Tin Can Knits. I'll be making that for myself come January, and I needed a longer cord. Now, I think the pattern calls for 5.5 and a 6.5, or 4.5 and 5.5. Like, it's 1 millimeter off, and I haven't did gauge yet, so I didn't know what size I wanted. So last week I picked up the 4.5 with the 36-inch. This week I picked up the 5mm with the 36-inch because I have the enough of the 24 and 16-inch ones. So these were around $8 at Walmart, so pretty cheap. And then at Michael's, as I said, I was there picking up some yarns, and I had a 30% off coupon. So I figured I would pick up, I wanted to try to do a pair of socks, magic loop style. So all the sock, like in Walmart, they don't, sorry, I'm stuttering here. Words today, words. The ones at Walmart are 2.75, I think it starts off, or 3mm. So there's nothing smaller. So at Michael's I had to get them. So they're 2.25mm, which is a US number 1. And they are really nice and sharp and pointy, the Loops and Thread brand, and they're 29 inches long. You want a longer, I have a set that is a shorter chain, or whatever you call this part, the material, I don't know, the plastic part, that is about 16 inch with the needles, but that's not long enough to do the magic loop style socks. So I'm not sure how I'm going to like the magic loop. I'm going to try, I've never made a knitted sock, so I'm going to try the DPN, I'm going to try the magic loop, and I'm going to try the DPNs. And I would love to pick up a pair of 9mm circulars. They're the part here, it's only about to here on them, and then on each side, and then there's a little bit of a rope to make it 9 inches. So 9 inches is from tip of the needle to tip of the other needle, and to do around. But I hear a lot of people, it hurts the wrists and their fingers because it's too close together. And normally when you're knitting with circulars, the other end of the needle you have resting kind of on your palm. So when they're this short, there's nowhere to rest. You can't, it doesn't go down that far. So I'll see whatever way that's comfortable for me. So these were $10.99, and I got 30% off. So they're about $8, probably still about $10 with taxes. And my last two things I bought weren't directly related with yarn, but they are, because I've been wanting to do some project bags. I'm not a sewer. I have a sewing machine. I have my hands, thread and needle I can do. I looked around and I can't really afford to be buying a bunch of project bags off of Etsy and things like that. So for now, like, I want to just drawstring bags. So I looked up on YouTube some tutorials to do my own drawstring bags. So when I was at Walmart the other day, I picked up some fat quarters. Just some, these were like $2.47 a piece. So I seen that they make, oh, I don't know if these are sticky. Just one second. So this, I don't know if these have names like not really. They're 100% cotton, and they're from Fabric Creations. They're 18-inch by 21-inch, and they're by Barb Industries, and that's all they say. So I'll open them up so you can see what they look like, and so I can see what they look like also, because I'm going to make some bags out of it. Here we go. So here's the first one. I liked this one because it kind of looks like knitting. Looks like knitted stitches. So here. So that's doubled. So when you're making the drawstring bags, you're basically putting it in half and cutting down the side. And then this is the size of the bag that's going to be, minus where you sew. So you're going to have to fold over and fold over. So that's a perfect size. As you can see, that'll be a perfect size for a drawstring bag. So that's the first one. And the second one I seen, they were very, very limited. Like, I'll look again tomorrow when we go shopping to see if they got more in, because they barely had anything. So this is the second one. And this one says a lot of words. Snowflakes, cocoa, cozy blankets, warm fireplace. Yeah. Staying home, sleigh rides. I thought the staying home one was pretty funny, especially right now. So this will be my wintry one, which I'll probably use it all year round. It's just to hold my projects in it, my little hats and cowls. And I'm really looking also, they don't have anything bigger than this size, so I really would love large drawstring bags. So not just for gift giving, but to put my Afghans in, my sweaters, like when I have enough room for all my balls of yarn for my Afghan sweaters, larger type shawls, that kind of thing. So I'm not sure what size would be sufficient in like length, if it would be like a 2 foot by 3 foot or any of that kind of thing. But yeah, I want to start making my own bags. I mean, I don't know how much they cost to buy. I think I looked at a couple shops and they were like $20, and I just can't swing that right now. So, I mean, maybe people can, but just for a bag, I would rather just get the big Dollarama bag, green bag, and throw it in there for now, or a gift bag. The large gift bags, they also work for me. So, but guys, that's all the goings on this week that's been going on. I mean, I've been really, really, really busy, really busy, and you will see why one day. I promise you. Like, if I knew these people didn't watch my podcast for 100% for sure, I don't honestly think they do. Honestly, I don't think they would take the time. I don't think they would really care. So, I mean, they're the type that I know they're going to love the project, but they wouldn't take the time out of their busy days to watch my show. So, but I'm not going to take the chance. Too much work went into it, and I really want the jaw drop, because I'm telling you that'll happen. So until next time, everyone, look out for my weekly yarn basket that should be coming up by the end of the weekend, and stay safe. If you haven't already and you liked this video, I'd love it if you liked this video. I'd love it if you subscribe. If it's not for you, I apologize. Just drop me some words of wisdom, that what made it that you didn't like. Probably my rambling, I understand that. Maybe my talking with my hands, that's the French in me. Or maybe it's the German and the French in me, I don't know. But until next time, everybody, you have a wonderful, wonderful weekend. Keep being naughty, and happy crafting. Until next time, everyone, love you all. Bye.